Forgiveness ought to be easily obtained, as I've said. But if you want forgiveness, you actually ought to ask for it. You actually ought to dissociate from the things that you say. I was saying stuff that was dumb. I got caught up in the edgelord moment online. Like, whatever it is. But this sort of preemptive forgiveness that people are willing to grant to their own side, you only get out of jail free if you ask to do so. You don't get it just because, like, preemptively. So you say something terrible, or you do something terrible, and people just preemptively forgive you. All that is an incentivization to do more of that thing. On the facts, Ukraine did not talk the United States into the war. Yesterday, President Trump declared that it was, in fact, Liberation Day, his giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. If you're asking me, morally speaking, did Donald Trump do the right thing between November 4th and January 6th? I said, I will continue to say, no, he did not. I think he was saying things that are false, with just factually false about his theories with regard to the election, about the election being stolen, about fraud. This was all adjudicated in. Told me yesterday, put up a tweet. This one got him in a little bit of trouble. He put this up on Instagram. It's a cool shell formation on my beach walk. And it was a series of shells that were put in the sand to read 8647. 47 would be like Donald Trump, the 47th president of the United States. And the number 86, well, that could mean a couple of things. Originally, like I see some evidence of attempts to collude, like Don Jr. I see some attempts of people trying to get information. It will be televised. It will be a spectacle, and it will be an electoral disaster for Republicans if this thing runs all the way through the election. I know there are a lot of Republicans who are in love with the idea that this is going to backfire on Democrats, and that the attempt to, quote unquote, get Trump is going to lead to a revenge play by Trump that ends with a Republican in the White House. I'd love to see the poll data supporting that. I've yet to see one iota of data supporting that. There's a lot of data to suggest that the targeting of Trump has helped him in the primaries. I've yet to see a single piece of data suggesting that the American people are going to react to all of this lawfare against Trump by voting for Trump. Or is he a spoiled brat who grew up in the lap of luxury, had his daddy sign his checks, and then bragged about how he is a huge winner? Trump's three biggest crowds are evangelicals, conservatives, and he's a winner voters. Trump is lying to all of them. Stop buying the lies.
Tucker's question, that's absurd. You've always been nice to Mike Pence? The actual what? What? Oh? Okay, for those who have a memory of a goldfish, let me remind you of a time when Donald Trump suggested, nay, said outright, that Mike Pence had the unilateral capacity to overthrow an American election, essentially called him a coward, suggested that he would be forced to do so. And then when Mike Pence called him from the Capitol building on January 6th, because the Capitol building was under assault, he basically did nothing. You were always very nice to Mike Pence is one of the craziest Orwellian statements I have ever heard. You were always very nice to Mike Pence is an insane statement.
Will be my last.
A lot of problems with Mitch McConnell, but the kind of overall judgment on the right that Mitch McConnell was an obstacle to victory when, in fact, he was a tool for victory many, many times, including most specifically on the Supreme Court, Trump's tax cuts, all of his legislative accomplishments. That's an unserious point of view.
So my question is, do you believe that people should be compelled by law to vaccinate themselves or their children?
So this is one of my more controversial positions. My answer is yes. The reason that my answer is yes is because the vaccination science is extraordinarily clear.